Today is the launch of set 13 of TFT into the Arcane, and this is everything you need to know to get you started. This set is themed around the Arcane series, filled with references, traits, and even exclusive TFT units from the show. If you're a fan of Arcane or just a TFT enjoyer, a lot of effort was put into this set. I'm sure it will be one of the best sets in a long time. If you like my content, make sure to like and subscribe. I normally do daily VOD reviews as a learning resource, but I also make general guides and some fun TFT content like this. I had a video where I gave my initial reaction and input on all the new traits, but here's a quick summary. Frontline traits from past sets return, including Sentinels that give armor, Bruisers that give HP, and Watchers that play around durability. In the beta or PvE, Sentinels were the go-to flex option and were very popular since they give a lot of armor to the whole team. Watchers have been really hard to deal with in the beta, so we'll see if they get adjusted at launch, but as a warning, be prepared to see those as well. Another important flex trait is Emissary, where the trait is either active as 1 or 4 Emissary. They give team-wide buffs like armor, mana, attack speed, or HP, so you can pick the one that helps your board the most. Make sure to hold on to them because they are likely going to be very contested units. Other traits include some more well-rounded vertical traits like Enforcers and Rebels that give you many options for frontline and backline units. The Summon trait comes in the form this time as Black Rose, which has been very strong in the beta. Scrap and Academy that can help you get additional items for your team either to tempo early or to cap out late. Dedicated AP and casting traits like Sorcerers, Visionaries, and Dominators. More AD focused traits like Artillery. Snipers that can scale with distance. Chem-Barons which you lose early and gain Shimmer item cash outs based on your loss streak. Conqueror which features Noxus units and is a good tempo and scaling comp. And many more. For the Season 1 Arcane enjoyers, there's even a family reroll that lets you play as Vander, Powder, and Violet. There are lots of 2-trait synergies as well as units that have 3 traits themselves, making flex options very plentiful and hopefully present in the meta for those that like to cook up a board. There are also a lot of 1-cost AP units, so AP flex might be a good option for those looking to tempo early playing around 1-cost upgrades. Also, for your own reference, here are the units that have some sort of utility that you can use throughout the game. The set mechanic this time around is Anomalies that appear on stage 4, 6 and will give you a variety of effects. You can use it to make a unit more powerful, either by giving them a new ability like Executing, increasing their stats, or getting resources like items or emblems. Because of Anomalies, you should prepare to roll aggressively during stage 4 to make sure that you guarantee whatever units you are planning to play around, since you cannot transfer Anomalies once you apply them. I would suggest rolling to make sure you have both a frontline and backline unit that you are happy to upgrade to limit the variance of missing on your anomaly. Some anomalies also give resources like emblems and items, which are a nice way to not dedicate it towards a particular unit. Alternatively, if you think your units are good enough, you can keep your gold since you can spend 1 gold to reroll your anomaly. Picking anomalies that augment your units, for example, Mundo scales off HP, so HP is likely good, Alawi scales off of armor and MR, so any anomaly that gives that might be good, and Heimer scales in a fight based on how many casts he performs, so mana anomalies are likely best there, but at the same time make sure not to sink into diminishing returns. If you have armor items, then maybe an HP anomaly is good for your front line. If you have lots of AD damage, then maybe crit chance or execute is good. There's so many possibilities that I'll likely do a guide in the future because we still have to see what's going to get fine-tuned once the set actually releases. There are lots of new augments that have been added to the set. Some key ones are the new duo synergy augments that give you a copy of 2 expensive units and powers them both up. You can think of it like hero augments for some of the 4 and 5 cost units, so if you're already playing around those units, it seems like a no-brainer to take. Some of them seem incredibly strong, like there's one that gives you a copy of Jinx and Savika, which are both 5 costs, but other ones are a little bit hard to fit in and make a cohesive board, so we'll probably work on some guides in the upcoming weeks. To see some example comps, I would suggest checking out my VOD reviews so far, as I give a detailed outlook on each step along the way, and it'll be way more informative than just giving a picture of a final board. Since I often patch the release and the beta, I will do tier list, a comp guide, and some board cooking with hero augments starting next week, just to give a proper informed take based on what ends up actually being strong and weak instead of just what was strong or weak based in the beta. But here is still just a rough guide from my experience of the beta to get you started. All the shapeshifter units are unreasonably strong in the beta. They have different abilities based on if you frontline or backline them. Gangplank seems crazy overtuned and has incredibly great synergies, so any board with him feels strong. Elise also stuns in the front line and does massive damage in the back line, so she's probably going to end up being one of the most contested units, and Swain is just very tanky. In terms of reroll comps, Family reroll seems strong and hinges a lot on Vander being unkillable. Lux and Zyra Sorcerer Academy reroll is quite strong if you have the spot for it. Tristana reroll with Urgot is very strong, and Tristana has a scaling effect. If you can find her early, it will definitely pay dividends. Kog'Maw Watcher reroll has been terrorizing PBE, so if this isn't nerfed on release, this is probably going to be one of the top comps that you see. And Gangplank Swain reroll, for the same reason as Kog'Maw reroll, is just gross, and I stated a lot of the reasons before. In terms of 4-cost comps, my favorite to play is Black Rose Dominators. I think I averaged the highest by far playing this in the beta, but that being said, it's a very flexible comp that plays to all my strengths as a TFT player, so I'm a little bit biased towards it, and we'll see exactly how it falls on release, but it's definitely going to be strong in my opinion. Some other idea comps is something like Bruiser Snipers, Sentinel with Sorks, or Sentinels with Visionaries also seems interesting. Playing Vertical Scrap has been really successful, and one that's really strong is playing around Vertical Enforcers, but it hinges a lot on finding a Caitlyn eventually. As a general tip though, if you just pick a frontline trait and you pick some sort of backline trait and shove them together, you'll likely have some sort of success early on in these first couple of days of the new set, so make sure that you try and play uncontested and find your upgrades as soon as possible if you're playing around these 4-cost comps. Additionally, this set brings a few quality of life changes for returning players. Gone are the days of the old item bench that felt very cluttered, and here's the new system that appears on the left of the screen. Items can be crafted in the new item bench and it expands to multiple columns when you get more items. I personally think the change is good, but it does take some getting used to. Additionally, you get a remover during the neutral round of each stage, so you no longer have to use a remover before the neutral rounds, you just get a new one and you can stack them on your item bench. That's all for this guide, so make sure to stay tuned for more updates from me. I'll be streaming on my Twitch channel where it's just going to be me unfiltered, and I'll be uploading VODs of those as well as VOD reviews for the comps daily. So if you want to learn and figure out stuff that way, I think it's one of the best resources. Just see somebody go through everything with a red marker. So make sure to like and subscribe for that. But anyways, that's it for the little intro guide, and see you guys.